Hello, this is John Hart, and we'll be going over the Unit 7 assignment where the output is already provided. So just interpretation, no number crunching. We're comparing two ulcer treatments, treatment A to treatment B. And we have obviously two groups, treatment A group and treatment B group. And within the study we have three variables, but they are different variables: time of last visit, age, duration of disease. So each of these, when comparing the two groups, this variable compared between the two groups, this variable compared between the two groups, this variable compared between the two groups. There's 19 in group A, 24 in group B. That stays the same. So that's the N column, number in by group, treatment group AB and AB. Average or mean for each variable. So again, they're different variables, not like the last unit where it was the same variable, student scores. One variable or one outcome variable, three groups in that assignment, but one variable. So this is different. We have two groups and three variables. So ANOVA would not be appropriate. ANOVA was appropriate in the last one because it was the same variable. Scores for each of the three student groups, grouped by type of mentoring. So we're doing a t-test. It says right here what type of test. It's independent samples t-test. Another name for it is two samples. Independent groups. Group A is independent from Group B. And SIG, of course, is the p-value. And 0.2, we see here, 0.9, 0.5, it just happens to be on the B line, the Group B line. But recall that a p-value represents the difference between two samples or two groups. In this case, group A to B. So 0.2 is the p-value is the difference between A and B for this variable. 0.9 is the difference between A and B for this variable. 0.5, the difference between A and B for this variable. Note that none are significant. All are greater than 0.05. With the independent samples t-test, there's two version or subtypes. One is the unequal variance, and the other is equal variance. Recall last unit, Levine's tested for equal variances. That is a requirement for ANOVA, that there be equal variance. For the independent samples t-test, if Levine's is pointing to unequal variances, we have a version for that. So it's appropriate to do a comparison between samples that have unequal variances, whereas in ANOVA it would not be appropriate. In t-test independent samples, we have the unequal variances version to handle that. So your template first identify the test. So this is in the announcement, test used, and that was mentioned right on the output, and describe the variables being compared. For example, time of last visit between two groups, the p-values and what they mean, interpret the p-values, and recommendations going forward. One would be this is a little on the small side, so maybe increasing sample size. That would be an example of one recommendation, which you are welcome to use. And thank you for watching. The main thing to cover is the variable, explanation of the variables, and their average and their p-value. You don't necessarily have to address this for this assignment. And thank you.